Last time, on Asmiliath adventures. Departing Ukin with a second Caspian in tow, the Golden Hearts set off upon the road with their sights set on folk. Many unanswered questions and loose threads await them there, from the rumors of Goliath to the unresolved situation of Solomon's death. At the top of the list, however, our heroes hope to find a safe place to store their newly acquired Toredan piece. Unsure if anywhere is safe, they speculate that the buried fortress of Bronshard might be their best hope, sending a letter to their holy companion, Rolly Halfbeard. Traveling west, trudging along the edge of the swamp they had lost their bard in, our heroes are alerted to a peculiar sound. Far away in the forest beneath the mountains, they hear a long, prominent howl of a wolf. Unsure if this means danger for the party, everyone is put on high alert for the night. From there, a grueling game of cat and mouse begin, as a seemingly unnatural pack of direwolves stalk the caravan. Throughout the night they crawl closer, producing loud, irritating cries before any reaction from the party chases them off. Again and again this process repeats, irritating our heroes throughout the night and never letting them fully relax. Eventually, with the slumbering ruse from Clay, the party manages to capture and kill one of the skulking beasts, allowing the first good look at the monster that followed them. Losing its glowing eyes upon its death, the wolf has a noticeable hole driven into the base of its neck, exposed muscle and bone festering in the wound. Putting the pieces together, our heroes assume the wolf is possessed, and its physical body had died some time ago. Unable to make safe progress with this trailing threat, and not wanting to leave the caravan undefended as they hunt them down, the Golden Hearts decide to finish their trip to the coastal city of Trombert and store their valuable companions there. It is February 20th, the noticeable cold that arrived with the wolves still lingering in the air. Our party, tired, frustrated, and tormented, makes steady progress towards the growing city, eventually stepping beneath its gates as the sun rests high in the sky. Finally arriving in a relative safety, our group collect themselves and discuss the plan ahead. Gentlemen.
Does Decker know anything about Tronbert?
Decker, do you want to give me a history check, sir?
Okay.
We'll do it with advantage, because, you're a Liamison. That's a, yeah. A Liamite.
A Liamite.
Man.
A Liaman.
A Liaman. I like that better. All right. Yep, I apparently know him pretty well.
Okay. Trombert is probably about fourth down on the totem pole of the council that makes up Liamis, or the republic that makes up Liamis. Morin's Point, the capital to the west, and Ukin are kind of the two big powerhouses of the republic overall, and Trombert's kind of a trailing, distant cousin almost. It is a port city that functions a lot around its sea trade and its sea valuables, such as fish and other different avenues that you could find amongst the open ocean around Asmiliath, but it isn't particularly known for anything incredibly unique. It's mainly just a market city with a crossroad running through it. It, during the time that Folk and Liamis had their alliance, was a fairly prominent point to stop whenever Folk was trading with Liamis or vice versa, or passing from Giles to Folk. The alderman that is in control of Trombert is Tristan Roseglide, but he would currently be away at the, meeting of the Republic. As your father had mentioned when you guys left, they had all been called together to discuss repairing the relationship between Folk and Liamis. As far as that goes, that would be the general knowledge that, you would almost just have kind of ready off the top of your head. Besides that, it's a rather standard, normal Liamis city.
Okay. Yeah, and I'd certainly relay that.
Would you have any sway in getting some assistance guarding our caravan?
I'm sure I can work something out. Money holds sway with most people around here, and we still haven't run out of that. But, no, it should not be a problem. The alderman, uh, as far as I have heard, is not in the city right now, so I should probably pay a visit to his offices. Are they gonna come with me, or should I just go on my own?
Well, one thing that's worth mentioning before we get into that, because probably should have mentioned it before, but totally forgot. Liamis, as far as the different cities amongst its populace, is distinctly different. The city's almost functioning semi-independently, having their own laws and their governance and, their own little militaries as well. They only really share the same name in the fact that if one was, attacked or threatened, the others would kind of form a loose alliance to protect their brethren. With that being said, while you would have some sway as an alderman's son or as a Caspian and also being a Liamis local, it wouldn't be as simple as just like walking into Ukin and being like, hey, I'm the man. There might be a little bit of pushback of, maybe a little bit of competitiveness or friction between the two houses or political powers due to the fact that you are going to be asking for assistance from a family that is a lot less influential than your own.
The assistance being,
I guess, like storing the caravan, is that the question?
For a caravan while we defend your city from...
I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm laying what the relationship might be.
Yeah, I think we'll be alright. Well, depending on our DM.
Well, let's speak to them straight away. I want to head out during the day and destroy these wolves before nightfall.
And it's early morning now, or noon? Right. Well, I'm gonna, I guess as best as I can figure, where would Dryhold be where the...
Yeah, the main blue building, I'll go ahead and ping it for you right there, is the general... It's the Merchants Guild, and that's where... Oh, that's something stuck on my throat. This is great timing. The Merchants Guild controls the vast amount of power in the city because they basically have a stranglehold on whatever makes the city relevant. So that is where the Roseclides kind of set up their main offices. They do have a house, but any sort of, business inquiries or, staff would be there.
Okay.
So, head there, I assume. And then if you don't have any, necessary reason to have a full-blown RP discussion with it, we can just handle this with some charisma checks or things of that nature.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Go ahead and then give me persuasion.
I'm gonna back him up.
Okay.
So that's an advantage or what?
Yeah. Okay. And then the general ask is just finding a safe spot to store the caravan?
Yeah, with the understanding that the only reason we're even stopping in their town is because there's a pack of 20 undead wolves that are outside their gates, and we intend to deal with them before moving on for the safety of everyone concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're bothering us, but they might just hang out and munch on your townspeople if we don't do anything about it. And oh, by the way, can we have some help?
So, stepping into their main kind of, it's almost like a warehouse with a small front attached to it that handles an incredible amount of business on any given day. Talking to the person who is sat behind it, the receptionist, I guess, to give it a term, you would soon be directed to what you would assume is maybe a high-up servant or the head servant of the household, and he would find a safe house might be the term he would use for very valuable goods that pass through the city from time to time. Very secretive location that's only known for a few people, that temporarily stashing you there wouldn't be too much of a burden, especially due to the valiant task that you are doing to defend their holy city. So you would be given that reassurance, and and told that it would be held there for 2 or 3 days, but longer than that, might have a problem.
Understood. Our intention is to be gone within the day.
Yeah. So if you choose to do that, it would be fairly simple. Just kind of have the caravan, whoever is directing it, either it be Iron Pot or whoever, would be led to this safe house, stored away there, and then kept under guard, supposedly. So,
I would instruct Ferris and the guards to stay with the caravan, nevertheless, and Giggles, because Giggles is meant to message one of us if something goes wrong.
Okay.
And anybody else with the caravan can do what they like in the city, and I think it'll be the Golden Hearts plus Lavelle striking out after the wolves.
Okay. Are you bringing a caravan person to puppy guard her, or are you just bringing Lavelle?
I think we're just... let's just bring Lavelle.
Could we bring the Mastiffs?
You will have Buffy going back out in the wilderness, if that matters.
Would Buffy halfway look after Lavelle? Keep stuff off her butt?
I think as long as Thor agrees to that, yeah.
Yeah. I guess if I can control Buffy in that way, yeah.
Yeah, if we get to combat, obviously you would dictate Buffy and you can have him guard Lavelle if need be. Outside of combat, you could probably have the understanding of, somewhat getting through to him and being like, don't let this woman die, eat some grubs, and begrudgingly bear agree.
And as parting words, Valoran with Ferris, standing at his side, will tell the caravan guards that they perhaps have the more grave duty between guarding the caravan and going after the wolves. And if anything happens to it, that will be the second worst thing that happens to them today.
You want to give me a stray intimidation?
Yeah, I do.
God, that is just scary.
Yeah.
In 2 different ways. Yeah, with the combination of your charming words and the presence of their, I guess, captain. I don't think we've given Iron Pot an official...
I've been calling him Sergeant sometimes.
Okay, well, we'll call it Sergeant then. But having their commanding officer standing at your side along with you, it's pretty well understood by them that if something happens to the wagon or the chest that is oh so important, then they may as well make themselves scarce because they know what's coming. You would notice that getting back into town and pushing through the various, I guess, pace you would set in the night that has been disrupted, the guards are kind of cranky and tired and getting near the edge of their jovial attitude. They're still, obeying orders and not raising too much of a fuss, but they aren't super pleased about the last couple days. But I don't think Valoran probably cares all that much about that, so I think we're fine.
I'd say he doesn't care, but it's not a priority right now.
Mm-hmm. So with the caravan and guards and whatnot stashed away, bringing Lavelle with you, is there anything you all would be doing between that time, heading back out? Any conversations, any small tasks? It would be nice for the party to come up with a plan.
Yeah, so Clay,
I think we start by just going right back where we last were in contact with the wolves and try to track them.
I mean, in all likelihood, they're going to use guerrilla warfare tactics. We should see if we can lure them into maybe a little box canyon if there's one, or in between a couple of hills to see if we can get them in one spot. Between myself and maybe Aurora and Buffy, I don't know how fast Buffy is, but
No.
maybe we could, kite them over somewhere.
So I shot you some perception rolls for Aurora if you need them.
Because just going out there and waiting, I don't think they're gonna just bum rush us.
So they just if I remember correctly, they just happened upon us. It's not like we saw them, they saw us, and they just started following us. They were just suddenly there.
Sounded like they were stalking us. And
The initial show, or I guess presence, was Clay hearing them howling a fair distance away and then slowly getting closer.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we just kind of go out into the wilderness, fan search, see if we can find them in the general area we last saw them. If not, we try to track them and then go from
I
there.
don't think we could try escorting a decoy wagon and seeing if they show up, but I think they've only been showing up at night anyway. Is that right?
During the day, they kept their distance but continued howling occasionally to make their presence known, but never came within line of sight.
So should we wait until the night?
Well, let's set up a killing field while it's daytime, when they are less likely to attack. How far from town to where we killed one?
That's probably about a half day's travel. You could probably make it a little bit less, moving as a smaller group with a bit more haste. So maybe 4 hours, 3 hours if you're really pushing it.
That would give us, maybe 3 hours of daylight?
Yeah.
After that? Then why don't we head back to that place, take a couple hours to scout out the area, see if there's a good place to actually catch them. And at least attempt to lay a trap or set ourselves up for a nice defensible position.
Yeah, we can do that.
I like
Let's
it.
do that.
Okay. So, is everyone taking horses, going on foot? What's the plan?
I'm on a horse.
I assumed, yeah.
I mean, if he's on a horse, we might as well. I'll be on a horse.
Yeah. I imagine
Decker
you could.
will never walk when Valorant is riding a horse.
Okay. I'll put that on my permanent notes. I imagine either Lavelle could double up with someone or grab a horse from the caravan, but easy enough.
Plenty of room on the gnome horse.
Hey, my pony is very sturdy. And we just fought the things, right? So whatever spell slots we used are still currently... We haven't had a long rest.
Yes, because it was at the end of your watch in the morning that you had seen it and captured it, so yeah.
Alright. Have we had a short rest?
I could say you could feasibly fit a short rest in.
I could use one. Okay. Then yeah, either Lavelle would be on a horse or Clay could shape into one.
Alright. So, departing the city, heading back eastwards, noon beginning to fade away as the afternoon begins settling in. The Golden Hearts, or I guess, yeah, the Golden Hearts, because the Golden Hands is the term we've used for the company at large, double back over their previous progress, returning to the campsite that they had left earlier this morning. It appears that the carcass, unless you all had done something with it, is there any plan there?
I don't think so, other than looking it over.
It appears that the carcass has been left where it lie, being undisturbed even after the several hours of you being gone and returning. The thing that you would all very easily notice, however, is that when you had killed it, obviously there was some foul stench to it. There was something off about the life it was using. The physical body of it has deteriorated rapidly. Where it's only been dead for a handful of hours, it is almost a pile of flesh at this point, the fur being mostly disintegrated. It's more of a goop kind of surrounding the skeletal form versus being a somewhat fresh carcass. But that would be what you come back to.
By the heavens above, what the hell happened to that thing?
It lost its hold on its unnatural life. Seems it's paying the price.
Any concerns if I just burn this blight upon the ground out of here?
Yes, just make sure we're upwind.
Fair enough. And Clay will start to produce flames and just kind of send them out until the thing is ablaze. And smoking, I guess? How much smoke would there be?
I'd imagine a fair bit. You're still burning, like, I guess rotten fat? Rancid fat? I don't know how that works, but yeah, there'd be a fair bit of smoke.
I know the beasts aren't natural. Whoever's controlling them will probably see this and take that as some kind of invitation.
And as he mentions that, I'd take a moment to settle down on the ground and go into Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
Circle our immediate area.
So getting a better view of the landscape, having actual daylight to work with, where previously you'd been scouting around in the waning hours of the evening, you are basically at the end of the rolling hills between you and the mountain. Let me actually go ahead and drop you guys back to the Liamus map and put you where you roughly are. Yeah. Alright. So you are at the very end of the kind of sloping, slow hilllands off to your east. As the woodlands and the trees, ascend farther and farther away from the main road, you see them growing denser and thicker, this section of the woods not being, populated or used for anything in particular, as being a bit of a wildland between Folk and Liamus. But glancing around, trying to decipher if there's something nearby, something watching you, something moving, there wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary. You might catch a stray squirrel or rabbit or bird kind of flying across the sky, but nothing that grabs your attention.
Can I try to see where the wolves were and like where we actually saw the wolves, and see if I can either perceive them, like where they were, or try to track their track?
Yeah, give me survival and investigation. Okay. Yep.
Buffy help me?
I'll let him help you on the survival check. I'll let you reroll that one. All right.
Lucky feet, basically.
Thor, the one thing that you've noticed are the various small glimpses at these things, and then obviously the facing off of one of the actual creatures earlier this morning. They are incredibly large. Oh, that was one thing that I was also going to mention that I guess is worth mentioning at this point. Thor, you would be, from where you are, words are difficult. From where you were born and raised up in the Serbat Mountains, you'd be very familiar with direwolves. They mainly only, I guess, function or thrive in harsh and cold environments. So anywhere in the northern Pruid Empire and the Serbat Mountain range, you would find these very large and intimidating beasts. This would also very easily explain to you that it is rather strange to see them down in the rather temperate area of the Liamis Swamp. But because they are so large, and they're so used to moving around in rockier, drier, colder environments, they don't take the same precautions that some native creatures around here might, where they might skip over a soft bit of grass or land or mud, or they might choose a different path through the woodlands. Whether it's the unnatural ability guiding them or their own instincts lacking in this environment, they make a pretty poor job of covering their tracks, of moving away from any sort of area that allows an easy identification. So using both your senses and Buffy, who again just, flips logs over occasionally and then grunts at a stray footprint, you would be able to find the wide, fat paw prints of them from earlier this morning. It might be a little bit difficult, or it might take more time to perceive where they're going or which way they're leading, but you have found them.
Can I, when he finds that, can I guide Aurora in a particular direction now that we have some evidence of them?
Sure. She still only has 120 feet of range and then her own vision, right?
20 feet of range, but
Yeah.
she's got bird vision,
Yeah,
so she can see a long way.
Yeah. But I can certainly kind of combo that, have Aurora scouting while Thor semi-directs.
Yeah.
So is the plan
Well,
to just...
My plan was just to basically continuously follow that, and then as the tracks kind of look more fresh, start to stealth closer if I can try to find them.
Okay. Is everyone moving as a group for this?
I wouldn't ask them to. I would basically just say I'm gonna go try to track them and then wander off.
Well, Thor.
I mean, you can.
Well, wait. I can change into a giant eagle and give you a little bit of air support.
And as for sneaking, Thor, I'm just marginally better than you at it. Would you prefer
Would you like to come with me?
Well, I'm not better at it if I'm with somebody. Lowest common denominator and all. I mean, we can, but...
Well, I might have something for that if you need.
Oh, that's right. He can make us remarkably smart. Forgot about that.
Doesn't he have to be close to us?
Well, not necessarily.
Isn't it just on cast? Or do you have to all stay together in a group?
My reading of it is that it's like a zone that...
Yeah, it's for the duration, each creature within 30 feet. Okay. I was gonna... No, okay. Well, I can either stay with you on the ground or take to the skies, whichever.
Probably save... I'd probably tell you to save your shape for when you really, really need it, because we got a bird.
I mean, at this point, Valorant, would you like to come with us and we can all go track?
Considering they've been looking for us, I don't know what purpose being sneaky serves in the first place. Let's just follow these tracks.
Yeah, that works too.
Decker, would you be able to have your bird keep an eye out for somewhere defensible? I think we'll find these things fairly easily because they want us, but it'd be nice to at least pick our battleground.
We also are very big and not good at hiding, as you can tell. I'll just point out a giant footprint on the ground.
Buffy just like lifts one paw and looks at you kind of sad.
Oh, well, I meant the other one. You're fine, Buffy.
Lifts up the other paw.
Okay, no. Well.
So, moving as a group, I'm assuming, and I guess we are not going stealthy, and I'm assuming we're still all on horseback. These are all things that we'll just roll with. It won't be difficult to follow these tracks. What I'll probably have you all roll for is how time efficient you are. So how about everyone give me a quick survival check. Oof. Oof. Hey. All right. And Rob, can you give me another Aurora perception check? Okay. So as you all break away from the kind of small clearing that the camp had been set up this morning, off the main road and then into the woodlands themselves, you begin following these tracks, and it's somewhat difficult at first because there's so many crisscross pathways from the wolves coming and annoying you and then leaving and then coming again that you have to make it, about 300 or 400 feet into the depth of the woodlands before you realize you are following the freshest trail. Upon horseback, moving through this relatively clear woodlands. This isn't anywhere near the density of a Thyr, but it isn't exactly, easy for the horses to get through. Decker I'm assuming you're cast into Aurora as you all are going through, or you're just having her, keep alert?
Just keep alert.
Okay.
I've instructed her to notify me if she sees something.
I'm assuming, can Aurora, send you a mental note or, kind of ping you?
I guess that's kind of up to you. I mean,
if you can cast into her, I imagine they can at least go moderately the other way.
If nothing else, she can...
Yeah, just, fly down and...
She can fly down and flutter in front of my face.
Yeah, okay. Or I guess she could squawk to you, but anyway. As the party is moving through, and it's now potentially getting near later in the afternoon, around 5 or 6, the sun kind of descending on the other side of the sky, that chill that you had picked up this morning that's been following you since that initial howl had kind of ruined your adventure, to be perfectly honest. You feel it growing more prominent, kind of clinging to your skin a bit more, maybe even giving Thor a little bit of comfort being this cold again, which has been quite some time. As you all are traveling, Decker, you would hear the familiar scream of Aurora up in the sky, alerting you to something that she has seen, and I imagine at that point you would then cast up into her. As you transfer your perception into your owl, glancing around the area that she's been semi-focused on, a fair distance off, maybe about a 5 or 10 minute ride from where you all are collected now, she has spotted this large, black, furry mass tucked beneath a singular tree in a small clearing. It doesn't seem to be moving from the distance that you're at, and it just is curled up in the crook of a few different roots.
So once I see that, I'll circle the area slowly and see if I can discover anything else around it.
Okay, so kind of flying closer?
Yeah.
Okay. There isn't a lot more to decipher as you get kind of lower and lower in the sky. It becomes a more clear image, but due to the small amount of shrubbery and foliage kind of covering the forest floor where it's at, and it being tucked into the tree, all you really get is a more clear image of this curled up black mass kind of rammed in this little position. It doesn't appear to be moving or scratching or biting or doing any sort of motion besides just curled up.
Okay.
You want to give me another perception check? I know I just asked you for one bubble. I'm just going to annoy the shit out of you. You guys are going to hate these wolves to no end. Wow, incredibly consistent. Is the party moving in that direction currently, as you're, like, investigating?
I would imagine so.
Mm-hmm. So after several hours of traversing the woodlands, losing the track and then finding it again and then losing it and finding it, the sun again moving across the sky. As Decker focuses in on this point of interest, the whole party's kind of intention shifting, still following the tracks and then realizing that they are gently guiding them in that loose direction. You would probably get to the point where you can visually, if you're really peering through the various trees in the way, glimpse the distant black fur down on the forest floor. I'm going to probably give you about 120 feet, might be the distance that you are from it. And there isn't really anything that you can discern besides that.
Just the one shape?
Just the one shape, yes.
Probably feel like something's not right. Pack of wolves, but we can only find one. And they're wolves. It's not like they're cats. They don't hide that well.
Do you want me to go see if the thing's awake?
How far away is it from where we are currently?
About 120 feet, give or take.
Oh, okay.
I can do that. I can take Aurora down and just do a drive-by on it. Scream in its ear as it flies by. Then disengage.
Mm-hmm. So how close are you getting to it?
5-10 feet, something
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
gotcha. So as Aurora kind of swoops lower and lower, kind of doing slower, preemptive glances or flybys to make sure that the area is seemingly safe, eventually she'll land on the forest floor beside this creature, doing another glance around before focusing in on the curled up mass. As she lands and gets a close view, she would quickly realize that the beast isn't breathing. There's no rise and fall of the body whatsoever. And it appears to be disintegrating, for lack of a better term. The mass slowly kind of draping over the roots that it's kind of tucked inside of, becoming this somewhat goopy mess as you get closer.
She'd scream at it one more time and then fly away.
Yeah, once she screams, there would be no reaction and she would take off.
However, an owl screams, I really don't know.
They hoot, holler,
Seems relatively safe to me.
That seems a little too docile.
I mean, it is not nighttime.
If these foul beasts think the night is their particular realm, we will need to disillusion them from that thought.
Do you guys want to come with me, or do you want to deck, or do you want to stealth up, or do you want me to stealth up with you?
No, you go give it a shot, big boy. Don't think anything's going on here.
All right.
I'll join you.
Are you moving up with Buffy as well?
Yep.
Okay. You want to go ahead and give me a stealth and perception, and a perception for Buffy?
And I'll just follow their track with Aurora circling overhead.
Okay.
Do I have Buffy's stats, or is it the stats of a bear?
Just stats of a bear, yeah.
Okay,
I guess the
let me just look
brown
that up.
bear is the stat block that we used last time. And
All
then,
right, give me one.
Clay, did you say you were going with him?
Yeah. Would you say stealth and perception?
Yes. All right. Is that a...
Dexterity. So it'd just be a flat roll for Buffy.
Okay.
Which is 11.
And then perception for Buffy?
Oh, right.
Do
Sorry.
brown bears have keen smell?
They do.
Okay, roll with advantage then.
Alrighty. One. Wisdom base.
Mhm.
So it gets a +1.
So a 2 and a 10.
Yep.
All right. So Thor, as you are oh so tired of this tiresome game and just really ready for this encounter to be over, are you still on horseback or are you on foot at this point?
I'd probably be on foot.
Okay. You just go tromping through these woodlands. There is not a care in the world. It doesn't matter if you're stealthy. This thing's dead anyway, and even if they do attack you, so be it. This is the end of the road, one way or the other. So making absolutely a horrible racket, which not only hurts your perception, but your pet beside you can barely hear or smell over your audible distraction. Clay, as you were trailing behind them, horseback or on foot, sir?
On foot, almost like behind Buffy,
Okay.
in the shadows of Buffy.
As you are moving much stealthier, even though it is kind of a pointless task at this point, with all the attention being drawn to you by Thor anyway, you would begin hearing like a shuffling throughout the woodlands around you. It isn't easy to discern what exactly it is. It could just be like a big gust of wind kind of causing all the tree branches to shift and scrape together. It could be a family of squirrels leaving their nest. It isn't anything that gets you immediately, but there is just like kind of distant, low sound off in the distance.
In that case, Clay would cast minor illusion 30 feet above himself of some twinkling stars kind of spinning for about 3 seconds before kind of making an arrow pointing out towards the direction that was loudest.
Okay. So Thor, what is your goal once you get to this creature? Or I guess, body?
To kind of investigate it, see what it is, first of all. And then if it seems dead, just make sure it's actually dead. And then look around.
Okay. Give me one moment. Thor, as you enter this small clearing, again, you're keeping an eye out because, you're not stupid, but you're not exactly being the most careful at this point. You step up to this creature and basically seeing the exact same image that Aurora had been taking in. You glance around, you kind of poke it with maybe the butt of your pickaxe or the head of your pickaxe, seeing if it will jump up and snap at you or react in any sort of way. As you finish your first inquiry and you go to turn around, you would all hear the distinct snap of a twig and then the rush and the bark and the loud roar of an animal before you see Buffy and this streak of black fur collide. And we're all going to roll initiative. So Thor, as you're turning around and you hear this loud, I guess, shout, bark, roar coming from the tree line, you see this blur of black fur coming out, and as it seems to be coming at you, being the one poking at this carcass, Buffy kind of raises his head up, catching the movement before you do, throwing himself between you and the mass and taking the blunt of the force. They are now almost like a cat and a dog, swirling around this almost cartoonish sphere of fur, an occasional claw or mouth or maw kind of coming out of the shape and then back in, trying to bite and rip and tear at each other, struggling back and forth. That would be what you would witness as Decker. We will roll into your turn, sir, which you would, again, I guess, witness this either with Aurora or from the distance that you were at.
Yeah, so I'll just be riding my horse as fast as I can to close the distance.
So you would just charge through the woodlands, keeping your eye on this scene that is kicking off, kind of having like a branch or two whipping past your brow as you are like ducked behind the horse's head, and then come, I guess, roaring into the scene, leaping from the animal, kind of letting it find its own path back to safety as you enter the scene.
Yep, that's it.
Do you want Aurora to do anything this turn, since she would act on your turn?
If she can, go and give the help action to, I'll give the help action to Thor.
Mm-hmm.
So you may interpret this differently, of course. I think Decker still has his movement. The horse used the horse's movement, and then if he dismounts, he's still got 30 feet.
Yeah. We haven't done a lot of horse combat, but it makes sense to me.
Makes sense.
Okay, if you guys
Alright.
are fine with it, then
You do a little like Assassin's Creed where like as you're riding in, you're like jumped up on your feet, kind of like crouched on top of it, and then combat roll off.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so then Aurora's going to come in and give me the help action then. And then fly on back here. I will come here. Am I flanking it at this position?
Yes, you'd be flanking it to the side versus flanking it from behind. So that would be a +1 instead of a +2.
Okay, is this usable terrain back here?
So that is like heavily obscured. It's, dense woods and briar bushes and things of that nature. So it's probably going to count as a difficult terrain past like the initial kind of fringe.
Okay,
As you get there, real quick,
go ahead.
as you were like drawing your sword and facing off and watching these two massive beasts go head to head in this brutal wrestling match, out of the corner of your eye, as you are fully focused on this, just the slightest bit of movement catches your eye, and as you glance over, you would see two other pairs of yellow eyes staring at you from the nearby bushes.
Okay. In which case, I'm gonna move here.
So you would take an attack of opportunity at that point unless you bonus action disengage.
No, that's fine. Take
Okay.
the attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Well, he could also just not move towards the dire
Well,
wolf.
that's where he was moving, and then you saw them once he got
okay, I
within
see.
proximity.
Yeah.
So your AC is, what, 18, sir?
8.
Okay, let's see. That would be a miss. So as you were diving forward and like the limbs are just flying out wildly and you catch the new opponents and you shift your course, you just barely see one of the wolf's claws just kind of swiping by in the air, moving into the other action.
I assume that.
That certainly hits, yeah.
Okay.
$22.
Alright. Yep, and so that I'm gonna re-roll that 2 with Piercer,
Okay.
and that's a 1d8, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, 1d8. So 5 more damage, so that's 27 damage, and then bonus action disengage, and I will spend a superiority die to brace.
Okay. Simple enough.
And that-
So you deal 27 damage. All right.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
Deck, you got?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. As you dive towards the bush and quickly avert the blow coming at you from the struggling Buffy and Direwolf, seeing the new opponents dashing off to the west, you land your rapier squarely in I guess it's hidey hole. It's kind of tucked behind a bunch of the denser bushes in this area. Just stabbing mostly at the eye, not really seeing its full mass yet. You feel your blade connect on the other side, realizing that you've jammed it kind of low and to the left of its neck before you feel the blow, pull the blade back, seeing the blood kind of slicking the metal, and as you know that you have dealt an appropriate amount of damage and recovered, you dance back, kind of avoiding tripping over a root behind you, and then wait for them to approach you. And then Thor.
So
As far as
first of all,
as far as Buff is concerned, you can go ahead and have him go first or after you. Just don't try and like intermingle the turns.
okay, gotcha. I'm going to go first, and so by that, do you mean I always go first?
Either
do you
or.
mean that?
Just like don't have
Okay,
like, oh,
gotcha.
Buffy moves 5 feet, then I move 5 feet, and
Yeah. So I'm gonna go first. 5, 10. Is this harsh terrain right
No.
here? Or is this
Anything like the first
15.
5 feet of any of these woodlands are fine, but getting like into the
20.
woodlands would be your difficult terrain.
30? And then, is this close enough to flanking, or do I need to be here?
No, you would. That would be opposite flanking with the +2. The first spot.
Either space?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then I'll get there because that's only 30 feet of movement.
Mhm.
Bonus action rage, and then I'd like to take 2 swipes with the pickaxe.
Mhm. First one misses, second one hits.
Okay. That does 19 damage.
Okay.
And then, just from a thematic standpoint, since I only hit with 1, it would be kind of like I dig into the direwolf and then kind of just use that weight and shift it so that I swing out. So then I can give Buffy advantage.
Mhm.
And then I guess I'll roll for Buffy. +5 to hit. And it gets a multi-attack with 1 bite and 1 claw.
Sounds right.
So that is the bite. That is the claw.
The claw would hit, the bite would not.
Claw. 2d6 plus 4. Did that roll?
That was 1d6.
Oh.
So 7
Nice.
total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So between the two of you, it's 24 damage.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, sir?
Not at this time. That's all I got. That's my movement, action, and bonus action.
Okay. So as everything begins to kick off and you feel that like sudden rush of adrenaline coursing through you as Buffy is put in danger and you are left to react, you go racing around your companion, kind of dancing around the squabbling back and forth that he's engaged in. Stepping behind the direwolf, feeling some of the bushes and tree limbs kind of poking at your back as you swing your axe or pickaxe, landing a decisive blow, kind of struggling with it. Watching Buffy land a blow on the other side, you now have this thing pinned between you two, lashing back and forth as you deal a significant amount of damage and see a few stray blows kind of covering its skin, but it still has a lot of fight left in it. So after Thor, we would have Green Boys. All right. I think that's obvious one. Brace gives you what, sir? Remind me.
Okay, so basically it's going to be a whole nother attack. It's going to proc Booming Blade, and then it also adds a 1d8 for superiority die.
So you definitely land on your feet, bracing yourself with your buckler and your rapier. As the direwolf comes trundling out of the woodlands, you begin to see its massive form standing before you, its paws crushing the very root that you had to nimble yourself over. You see that residual power that you left upon it kind of seeping past the fur into the flesh before you hear this like muted, almost like underwater sounding thud where this damage just like buries itself into the being beneath the surface. You see it kind of like crunch over a little bit, kind of misstepping ever so slightly, taking advantage of that small slip. You ram your rapier through the top of its head, piercing straight through its skull and then down into its brain. It's clear that you have dealt a very deadly and decisive blow as the crumple that it was going through completes into a full-on ragdoll, this massive beast just collapsing down on the ground as you stab it all the way through. Alright. And then I drop my dice because I'm a genius, so I'm going to pull up the dice roller. There's going to be 2 attacking you, Thor, that have come out from the bushes, one leaping from its hiding spot as you engage with your enemy, and then the other one's going to be fighting Buffy still. So, your AC is 15, sir?
I think it's 7. Oh, no, it is 15.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So it has a... Okay. First one, miss, hit. And second one... Oh, it also has advantage because it has pack tactics. I remembered. This is for you, Captain Chieftain Kododo. So, okay, I'll take that as the advantage of the first one. So that hits, and the second one hits and misses. Okay, so 3 hits. That would be 2 successes. You're raging, correct, sir?
Yep.
Okay. First one's going to do 7 damage to you.
Okay.
Second one is going to do 11 damage to you.
Alright, I will reaction that one.
Okay. Stone's endurance.
Yes.
Okay.
There's some on.
And the one attacking Buffy.
Alright.
Okay.
So it does nothing.
Gotcha. Would not get pack tactics because it is not within an ally's range. And what is Buffy's AC?
That's a good question. 11.
Okay, those both hit. God damn, Buffy is not a very agile creature, I guess.
Nope. Doesn't have a lot of hit points.
How many hit points does Buffy have?
34.
Okay. Buffy is going to take 26. So, latching on to this enemy for you, taking its initial pounce, being wrapped in this deadly combat back and forth as you find yourself being attacked from the rear by 2 large, vicious beasts, all of them with these intense yellow glowing eyes that are set upon destroying this cluster of adventurers that have stumbled upon them. You would watch as, even though you are attacking it from the rear, this direwolf begins to gain the advantage on Buffy, the creature that you've been traveling with her all this time, whether it's due to how old he is or how distracted he might be or the position he finds himself in, begins falling first on one leg, then the next, as this direwolf now begins lashing and almost crawling across Buffy's sides, clearly getting the upper hand as he lands one of his claws deep in Buffy's shoulder, the old bear letting out this horrible, pained, screaming cry into the sky. And then we shall bring it to Clay.
Seeing these foul creatures, Clay would muster up his discs as they begin to surround him and call forth, "You unholy beasts, the heavens lay their eyes upon you. Know the fury of the archer himself." And wild shape into his archer starry form, and utilize that to fire off a Starbolt thing. I forgot what it's called.
Starbolt thing, patent pending.
At the one attacking Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's not within. Yeah. Okay. That's
Actually, quick. Sorry. No, you're good. Continue. That would hit.
And takes 5 radiant damage.
Mm-hmm.
And after he looses that from his starry bow, light of the heavens burn you! And he will cast Moonbeam towards the 2 that are over here. It creates a 5 or a 10-foot square, so 4 squares.
Okay.
I guess right in these 4, so it can hit both.
Yep.
They need to make DC 15 Constitution saving throws.
All right. First one fails. Second one succeeds.
Can I use my reaction on that guy? Or since it's still my turn, is reaction not okay?
I don't think you can trigger reaction from a saving throw.
I can.
Okay.
Just if it's okay on my turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd he go? Subtract that from the saving throw.
All right, he does fail then.
Okay. Then they will take 15 radiant damage each.
Okay. Those are the end. All right.
And Clay will just move back 1 space behind Buffy. Kill them while they're still burning. And that'll be it.
So Clay, as you find your figure beginning to glow, the starry light that you first appeared with returning to your very stout frame, you cast your... What is the projectile that you throw out for your archer's form? Is it just like
I like to think of it as it starts off as an arrow, but once it leaves the bow, it turns into like a shuriken on multiple axes.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like a spinning ball of Starblade.
Okay. So as you throw out the arrow, and in the middle of its journey to the destination, it warps and twists into this deadly ball of Starblade metal power, and then lands decisively in the side of the creature as it is like overpowering Buffy. You see your blow reaching deep into its side. It would perhaps maybe pause for a moment. It's still fighting with the large bear, but it isn't brought down by any means. And as you switch your targets to the 2 direwolves descending upon Thor, casting a brilliant beam of light, would that be the accurate description, sir?
Cascading from the heavens above to...
Everybody in the scene around would see this almost like a... What's the term I'm looking for? A shaft of light kind of shining through a windowsill on an early morning, just spark up above and then rocket down to the surface into these trees. It's, for anybody farther away, it's unclear what the target is, but Thor, as you feel your back being racked by these claws and bites, kind of turning your head to the side to acknowledge that you are being flanked, you see their fur burn and singe and kind of recede away from this strange radiant damage that just like cascades over them as they are furiously trying to figure out how you are managing to hurt them without physically attacking them. And then we'll be down to Valorant.
So charging to join the scene on Belgrease, he will use his full movement to get me to the scene of battle. And then I am not going to dismount, but I will cast Bless. Thor is just outside of the range, so he's going to get left out of the party, but me and Decker and Clay will get a D4 added to attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay.
As he holds his charmed arm aloft.
Buffy within that range? Or would that apply to Buffy?
I can only target 3 on a level 1, and I would have done you 3, but
Gotcha.
and he declares, "In victory, beauty," and the ring of light, like a pebble dropping into water, expands and encompasses Decker and Clay, and they are blessed. And that will be my turn.
Beautiful. So as Valoran comes storming into the clearing atop Belgrease, his resonant voice descending upon this scene of dense fur and roaring animals, a somewhat relief of this deadly encounter comes as he descends his blessing upon you. I said descend way too many times, but that would be your turn. So we are now down to red and purple. This is bad news, boys.
Well, question for you.
Yes.
Are you talking about these wolves right here?
Right where?
These two? No, or did they already go?
No.
Okay.
They have already gone. Clay, as you dive behind your Valiant Protector, you would hear behind you the crack of twigs and then the shifting of trees. And as Buffy is still being overpowered by the creature that he is focused on, you turn your attention to the northeast and you spot 4 pairs of yellow eyes staring at you from the bushes before they all launch from their hiding places and come barreling towards you through the shrubbery. Let me see. Yep. Alright. Yep, okay.
I always knew that shrubbery would be the death of me.
How does this... There... And I imagine he can make that, right? Yep. Alright. Not good.
Polar Master attack.
Yep, I saw that one coming. That would hit, sir. And that is 16.
Yep, 7 slashing, 9 fire.
Okay. Oh, that moon damage was radiant, right?
Yes.
How much was that? It was 15?
15.
Okay. Just so you are aware, these 2 are bloodied. I did not take that into account. Alright. So we're going to have 1 attacking Valoran, 3 attacking Clay.
AC of 19, buddy. So
Yep. We'll deal with Valoran first. Is there any difference while you're on Belgrease when he attacks you, sir?
No, and he, technically could choose between the horse or me, but he doesn't have any extra difficulty
Gotcha.
hitting me right now.
Alright, and he does not have advantage. Your AC is what, 18?
18.
Okay, first one miss, second one hits. You'll be taking 12 damage off of the second strike. What is that?
Okay. That was my concentration check, which I believe I made. I think it's half the damage or 10.
Yep. So just barely
we're
scrape by on that one.
And the damage was...
Say it again, cut out.
The damage was 12.
Yes. So as
got
you make your presence known, you seem to immediately attract the attention of one of the direwolves, kind of splitting off from his pack and addressing you, almost fearlessly stepping up to this horse that he matches the size of before reaching up with a claw and kind of dragging it across your thigh, landing 3 very large gashes into your flesh. Clay. Alright, so they all get advantage. I'll say that you're facing 2 of them, so I'll give one of them flanking. But they all have multi-attack, so we'll go with numero uno, who is not flanking.
Okay.
First one misses. His second hit hits. Okay. We'll go ahead and deal damage, because I don't want to try and calculate it all at the end. So one attack.
I have to do concentration checks, so please give me...
Gotcha. Oh, Jesus. That would be 14, so 10 would be the check. But you take 14 damage off the first one.
Forget your D4.
Okay.
If you need it.
Yeah, you're fine.
You said 14?
No, 10 would be the check you gotta beat. Oh, damage? Yes.
No, but the damage, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Second one, attacking with advantage. First attack hits. Second attack hits. First damage would be 11. So that would be another 10 check. Which you pass. The second attack would be 16, which would again be a 10 check. Which you can get your D4 from blessing.
Snap.
You're blessed, yeah. So you're guaranteed to pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you record all the damage.
I'm pretty bloody.
And then the
Go on
third
that
one,
next.
who has flanking and advantage on you, hits. Yep. Second one hits. 10 damage off the first attack. Nice. And okay, 8 damage off the second attack.
Okay. Oh, well done, sir.
What was
Play
that?
is down.
Really? Was that like your exact hit points or something?
That was the exact hit points. 59
Oh, you're
altogether.
kidding me. Alright.
Alright, plays down. Moonbeam unfortunately drops.
Okay. I guess we'll give you a little... There you go. Okay. That's not good. What would be Lavelle's orders if one of you goes down?
I don't
Wait
know
till
how
the date
specific.
is passed.
Yeah, I don't know how specific we would have been, but Revivify takes she's got to get there within a minute.
Which is
So,
that's 10 rounds? It's 10
That's
seconds. or
10
6
rounds
seconds?
of combat, so it's an eternity while you're on initiative, but
Gotcha.
in real time, she knows she has 1 minute if Clay is at death's door, so she might come running in.
So, as you watch your new and hopefully long-term companion get absolutely brutalized by a surprise attack of direwolves coming from the northeast, Decker, being the only one at this point not engaged in combat, having the advantage of looking over the scene, looking past Thor's fight, looking past Clay, off to the east, you see more eyes appear from the tree line before they too burst from their hidden spots. We're gonna start running into the fucking Kododo problem where I'm not gonna have enough room to do anything. They could dash to Valoran. They could dash to Decker. They could also do Buffy, but only one. Alright. Oh wait, you're not actually standing there because you're down. Jesus Christ.
And I'm very small to begin with, so.
True. Okay, we're gonna do this. And I think, yeah, he should be able to... Oopsies. Dash. Yeah. all the way to there. And that's doable. So there. Yep. All right. Decker, you're going to be getting 2 attacks, and... Oh, no, you're not. They're dashing, so it's just Buffy. What's Buffy's AC again?
A solid 11.
First one hits. Second one misses. What's Buffy's HP right now?
What do you want it to be? Because it's 8.
Ooh, oh, that's not good. 9 damage.
Buffy is, by the rules, dead.
So, Thor, what are you doing in this moment, let me ask, as you are being quickly surrounded and chaos is just kicking off all around you?
Well, my goal was to try to get the middle direwolf out of the way so that I could get to Buffy. So I'm trying to get to Buffy. That's my goal.
So as you are watching your companion, this mysterious creature that is seemingly just followed you since God knows how long it's been, as the beast that it initially began combat with gets the upper hand, and Buffy is struggling to hold his ground, and then Clay behind him loses his ground, you can't think the situation can get any worse until another direwolf comes screaming through the clearing and lands one massive, it's not really a claw, but more of just a quick and decisive pound of his leg into Buffy's temple. And you see the old bear's neck, which is thick and strong, snap at a very dangerous angle before you hear all of the roaring and fighting of Buffy cease before going limp under the wolf above it. And then we're to Decker.
Okay. Decker's a little nervous right now. But looking over at Clake, I don't think he's contemplating running really, so I will attack the wolf directly in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
That hits.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna re-roll one of those ones. So
3 more damage at 27.
7.
Mm-hmm.
Action surge, and I'm gonna attack again.
Okay. That hits.
And another 20. And bonus action disengage. I'm going to back up next to Valoran. And then Aurora is going to I'm gonna fly down and give the help action on this one for Thor.
Okay.
And then she's gonna fly back up.
So Decker, as you are still taking in all of this chaotic information being just pelted at you as you look around, watching this battle quickly sway in the way that you were not anticipating, another direwolf leaps over the carcass of the first that you defeated, using it almost as a springboard to try and lash out at you. Before its claws and its mouth can reach you, you duck very swiftly and land a blow in its side, causing it to whip around, attempting to kind of snap at your attack. And while it's whipping, you just carefully flourish your blade in the air and drive another deadly blow through its neck, pointing out the other side, before you give it a quick twist, cracking its neck, drawing the blade back out, and then swiftly departing from the second that is intent on attacking you. And that would be your turn, sir?
Yeah.
Thor.
So does the help action give me advantage, or does it give me the +2?
It's advantage. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, I'd like to hit into the one in front of me.
Mm-hmm. That hits.
So that's 10
So we double
plus
dice.
7,
Yeah.
17.
Okay.
Is it dead?
Yes. As you, is there a particular way you want to do this?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of, seeing that Buffy has gotten basically destroyed, I'm going to basically just do one giant swing around and just almost like it's not, the direwolf isn't as big as I think it is. I'm just going to baseball like that, swing, hook the pickaxe into it, and just throw it as far as I can out of the way.
Okay. As the beast that is atop Buffy kind of lands on the ground with this triumphant thud, its teeth still slick with Buffy's blood as it grimaces and looks around at its next target, you land your pickaxe in the haunches of its back. You feel the tip of it digging into its flesh as it lets out this ear-piercing scream. And as you continue to swing, you begin to feel a little bit of resistance, realizing the weight of this creature, but just pushing through it either with sheer willpower or the rage that is coursing through your veins. After that slight delay, you sling it even faster and further, dragging his body along your swing before you see it arc through the air, smack against a tree, smack against a log, and then dig into the earth as you swing your pickaxe to the conclusion and watch it die.
Alright, and then there's one behind me, right?
There's 3
Or like
around
one
you.
there's 1, 2, both of them are equally damaged behind me though, right?
Yes. Yeah, they got hit by that moonbeam.
So then I'd like to recklessly use my second attack to give me advantage, since they already have advantage, so it doesn't really matter on them.
Hits.
And that is 19 damage to, I guess, this one.
Oh, the southern one or the west one?
The west one.
Okay. So as you finish your swing and then glance around, seeing the 3 opponents still facing you, excuse me, you almost continue the swing again. What's the sport where you hurl that hammer around and then let it like fly? Using almost that kind of momentum, that style, you bring the pickaxe around again. The one to your south, kind of crouching beneath your swing, for the one to its left, catches it directly in the side of the head. You feel its skull just crunching beneath the metal of the pickaxe before you just watch it land in a heap, all of the life fading, the yellow eyes popping out of the sockets, landing another blow.
Alright, and then I would like to, as a bonus action, activate the shield pendant, so my AC is now 17.
Okay.
And then I would like to, I don't care about the opportunity attacks, I would like to move basically in Buffy's space
Okay.
to put myself between Buffy and anything else.
Both those, your AC is 17 now?
Yes.
Both of those would miss.
Okay.
Is that your turn?
Yeah, that is my turn.
Okay. There's only one green guy left, who I imagine would just... Yeah. We can go ahead and remove Buffy, if you want to stand there. Right?
Yeah. I'm also gonna, I'm gonna try to put myself basically over top of Clake because he's like a pebble beneath me. To try to avoid anything hitting him either. So I would say I'm in his space, but I'm not.
I mean, you can just... Do you want to be in his space? Oh, but you would then provoke...
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could go around like that.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that works. But I'd want to have control of my character token. There we go. That works.
All right. So Thor, as you pound off, jumping over your incapacitated friend and then standing over Clake, your incapacitated friend, finding yourself surrounded again, but at least at this one, you chose this journey before the direwolf that had missed the killing blow darts after you, trying to snap at your heels, would run up behind you, I guess, to there and swing at you. I'm not going to give it flanking because you're not really engaged. It does hit with the first, hits with the second. That would be 8 damage, so 4, and 14 damage, so 7.
7 damage.
Yeah, so 7 and 4, so 11 total. Thor, give me a wisdom check.
Yeah, you got it.
Fuck. Oh, shit.
I've never seen something be so reliably
Horrible.
low.
I mean, you might as well just not ask me to roll. Like, I don't understand why you make me do this to myself.
Oh my
Just
god.
inform you that you got a 0 on another wisdom check, and
Give him like a participation ribbon. God damn. Alright. So yes, as you are lashed out on, feeling the need to rebuke this attack, but being unable to focus on said rebuke, you simply take the damage as is. Clay, hey, it's your turn. You want to give me a roll? That's not good.
it's I submit that you are still blessed, and as a death saving throw is a saving throw.
Does that affect unconscious?
Your consciousness is irrelevant.
Yeah, because it is Valorant.
You are blessed by me.
How about we do this? I'll make it a 50. Ooh. Okay, wait. I want to make this more interesting.
No.
For future reference, if this happens again, which I imagine it might, we'll go with it being a 50-50 chance. So that way you're not always getting this on your death saving throws. Clay, odds or evens?
May the odds be ever in my favor.
You succeed.
Right.
Alright. So Clay, we're now down to Valorant.
Can me and my horse get through this brush that's to our south?
Yes, you would get attack of opportunity, obviously, but yes.
All right, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay close enough to the red one to not provoke from him, but I'll provoke from purple.
Okay. Who would get advantage? That would hit, and you're 18?
Oh, you know what? Can I back that up? It's okay if not.
No, go for it.
Because I just realized I don't actually need to move anymore. I was going to move to catch one of the wolves that died before my turn came back around. All right. So I'm going to channel divinity, conquering presence, and the radius will get all of them. It's a 30-foot radius They all must make a DC 16 Wisdom save that they repeat at the end of their turns, or else they will be frightened of me and get disadvantage on attacks and ability checks while they can see me.
Okay.
And they also cannot move toward me willingly while they are frightened of me.
Okay, let me go ahead and see which ones succeed and which don't. So what was the DC?
16.
Okay,
Wisdom.
I'm going to go left to right. The one above you fails. The one to your right fails. The two above Thor, first one succeeds. Second one succeeds. Then east, so that's fail, fail, succeed, succeed. I'm going to mark this because there's no way I'm going to keep track. Fail will be, I don't know, this symbol, sure. Succeed should be lightning bolt, sure. The second one I said failed? Sure. The one beside him fails.
The top two succeeded.
So
So
yes.
like the two on top of me succeeded, the two next to Valorant failed.
Okay, so not that symbol, sorry. There. Okay, so failure is lightning bolt. Succeed is... No, vice versa. Succeed's lightning bolt. Heart is failure.
Succeed doesn't really need an icon, does it? I mean,
Oh, yeah, because... Yeah, okay. So that would be these two. Sorry. I should have had a much better way of approaching this. But anyway. Okay, one to the right fails, so he would get the heart boy. The two below succeeds, and the one still in the brush fails. Okay, so 4 of them failed, 4 of them succeeded.
And that was my action, so I think that's going to be all for my turn.
So if they failed, what does it do again?
They are frightened. They have disadvantage on attacks and ability checks, and they cannot willingly move toward me while they can see me.
So after your turn, it would be red. The 3 above Thor, which one of them has failed, but the other 2 have not. And then the one at you, which would fail. Yeah, we'll go ahead and deal with the 2 non-frightened ones attacking Thor, which neither of them would get flank. Miss. Hit. So that would be 9 damage down to 4. Second one. Miss. And then the one to your east would just get a flat roll because you are canceling out his pack tactics. Yep.
Yeah, that's effectively what he's doing.
Yep. Miss. And miss. All right. So you only got hit by one of them, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then the one attacking Valoran would just have a flat roll. Miss. And hit. Your AC was 17, right, Thor, still? With the shield? Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, you were asking me about the pendant, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Valoran, you would take 13 damage. Alright, so that's red boys. Now purple boys, where 2 of them failed. And that one down by you can't even really get to you. I'm going to say this one will go there. Do you get the Polar Mastery with him, Sir Valoran? Oh, he can't move towards you.
Yeah, you can't move towards him. Yeah.
Do they attack the guy on the ground?
You? Well, Thor's standing over you. He's getting all the attention right now.
He'd also have to move closer to me to get into a space to reach you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess he's
He's
kind of
just-
stuck.
hike his leg on a tree or something.
I guess he'll move there. But that's about as close as he can get. And then the one to the southeast can't move and can't attack anybody. Oh, damn. Look at you go. All right, so the one above you, Valorant, will strike at you with a flat roll. Miss. And miss. All right. Well, that was effective. Goddamn. Back up
I
to
don't
Decker.
pull that one out often, but I'm glad it works when I do.
Decker,
Now you get to
you're
re-roll
on board.
for all their saves.
Oh, at the end of their turn?
Yeah.
Even on the
That's
turn
right,
that
at
they're
the end.
frightened? Okay. Okay, so we got purple, red, and then the purple and red at the bottom. The DC was 16.
Yes.
Purple boy still fails. Red dude fails. And then the bottom red succeeds. So get that out. And bottom purple fails. All right. Okay, now Decker.
Okay. Which group is next up on the attack order? Is that green?
It'd be green, yeah.
Oh, hang on. Sorry to interrupt.
Of course.
This has never come up before, which is why I have been forgetting about it. The Aura of Conquest. It takes up the same 10 feet as the Aura of Protection. While I am conscious, all frightened creatures within 10 feet have their speed reduced to 0 and take 4 psychic damage if they start their turn in the aura.
All right. Quick note before we get to you, Decker. Valorant, as you watch these beasts lashing out at you, their fear causing their slashes and their bites to be slow enough that you can move away, that washing, almost golden light that drifts off your figure and surrounds the immediate area around both Belgrease and yourself. You see them linger where otherwise some wild beast wouldn't. You see that, like, instinctually anybody in this position would want to flee, would want to run, especially being an animal. These stay, perhaps from their own volition, is that the term? Or with some desire to do you harm that supersedes their instincts. But you would not see any noticeable pain or harm done to them from this light. Decker.
Okay. So he would rush in here, and I'm gonna attack this wolf.
Okay. Hits.
And I'm gonna re-roll one of those ones.
Okay.
Another 5 damage, 28 damage.
Yep. That would certainly dispose of that man.
Okay. And
Don't eye me so.
then bonus action disengage right there. And I'll send Aurora down to give the help action to Thor on that one. And then off she goes.
Okay. I'll remember this with not green. Oh, not green. Sure. That help action. Can't miss it.
All right.
So Decker gliding away from Valorant's golden light, going to help the continually overwhelmed Thor as he is protecting the very, very unconscious and slowly dying gnome beneath him. You dart into the action, slipping in like a sharpened blade, stabbing the direwolf that is attempting to scratch at Thor's back, landing yet another killing blow, because Decker is on a hot streak today, stabbing it through the neck again, finding that is the easiest target to sink your metal into, swiping away, watching it fall, maybe giving Thor a little, and then darting back out of the action.
When do we get the multi-kill announcer?
Kilimanjaro, kill-tacular. So it was green, but they are dead. Clay, you want to do the honors?
Let's see.
Oh wait, no, I forgot Thor. Never mind, but we'll get to him. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thor. Totally didn't skip you.
Yeah, you're fine. I will. Okay, I'm gonna. Wait, hold on. Let me check this real quick. I guess, Seth, this is a good thing to ask you. For healing light, is that a spell? It looks like it's just an ability.
You know, I always envisioned it as an ability because spells are specifically cast utilizing cantrips or spell slots.
Okay.
Now, Nathan.
So I can use that while raging?
Sure.
Because it doesn't say like it's a cast. It just says it's an ability that I have as the type of warlock that I am.
Don't you guys love leveling up and then getting into combat, and then the first combat is just 8 million questions of how the fuck does this work?
The least of which not being like, wait a minute, Thor's a warlock now? What?
Yeah, I'll definitely say you can cast that, unless I'll look into it later, but for now, sure.
Okay. Well then, that'll be at the end of my turn.
Okay.
But for now, I will take my 2 strikes on the one that has the help action to get advantage.
You get probably advantage just on the first one, right? The first attack? Or is it for both attacks?
Well, it's
Okay.
2 attacks per action, so it's...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That hits. That does not.
Right.
You're still blessed though, right? Oh,
I'm not, yeah. So that's 14 plus 7, so 21 damage on the first one. And then as a bonus action, I would like to roll a d6, and I would like to heal Clake for 5 points.
So, Clay, I guess we will forego that death saving throw from before.
And I would like to imagine that, I guess maybe if Valoran and Decker were looking at me, you would see like the eye tattoo glow, and then it just slowly pulse down me as I'm like fighting, and then it just comes out the tip of my toe and jumps over to Clake and heals him. It's just like a pulse of energy.
So, Decker, again being the freest agent of this combat, you would watch as Thor is wildly thrashing back and forth, bouncing from one opponent to the next to the next. The bear tattoo that has been on his chest for quite some time, to the point that you don't even really look at it or observe it whenever talking to Thor. Now, getting a blurry yet more distinct view of it, you see one of the eyes of the bear blink and then glow green. And as Thor is still screaming, throwing his pickaxe back and forth, standing over his gnome companion, you see the green light begin to trail down, almost kind of dripping down his hardened physique, and then down his leg, and eventually jutting out of his big toe and almost hopping over to Clay, where it lands on his cheek and then slips into his mouth. And then Clay, you would be thrust back into the world. And I guess standing right above you would be Thor in his loincloth.
yeah. Nice view of something.
The crack of midnight.
I honestly wouldn't even notice that he was up. So.
Okay. God.
And that is the end of my turn.
Yeah. So Clay.
Okay. Now, to clarify, is he in my space?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and say as you come to, you do a little shimmy roll and wake up in that space.
Okay, without the attacks. From...
Yeah.
Okay, phenomenal. That's nice. Yeah, I think given how bad off he is, yeah, that's my only option. Clay will reach out towards the sky and may your mercy overfill my cup. And he would then begin to glow, once again taking on a starry form, but this time of a chalice. So whenever I cast a spell that restores hit points, I can add some extra hit points. And then he will cast... what is it? Healing Spirit? Yeah. At 4th level on himself. So the spirit takes up his space, and then also... Sorry, there's a lot more to this guy than
You're good.
I realized. And heal himself for a total of 24.
Is that, I'm assuming, your action and your bonus action?
Correct.
Do you want to stand up?
Yeah, that's a good idea. And so he'll just kind of hop back up with his shield ready, like...
So Thor, as you're still distractedly taking on multiple opponents at once, you would just see the slightest blur of, I guess, Clake's kind of starry cloak kind of rolling out from beneath your feet. And before he even stands, even though that wouldn't make much of a difference, you see his arm thrust up into the sky, this strange glowing chalice held in his hand. And as he holds it, this spotlight beams from the heavens, hitting the chalice, and you see this weird spectral slurring liquid begin to accumulate in the cup. And then, still hand aloft, he just tilts the chalice back, opening his mouth as this light drains over him, most of it missing his mouth, but it doesn't matter as he's regenerated and refueled, and then whips back up, returning to his gnome form.
How did you get up?
So we're now red then purple. And okay, so it's only one has the frightened effect, which he tries at the end of his turn. But the one next to you is going to attack you, Valoran. Flat, which is a miss and a hit. You take a whopping 6 damage. I guess you would have like a second-hand account of watching Thor and Clay, I guess.
I'm so sorry. I cannot do the healing spirit. I was mistaken.
Okay.
Because that's also a bonus action. Can I retcon that?
Can you not use an action as a bonus action? I can't remember if that's a thing.
If you're down with that, then I'll take that.
I feel like you can, because a bonus action is faster than an action, right?
I think there is something about you not being able to do 2 bonus actions in a turn because of something, but I can't remember off the top of my head. James, you got this at all?
Let's take it to the booth.
I think you locked James
Each
up.
round of combat, players are allowed to use 1 bonus action.
Okay.
Well, you could either forego the starry form or the thing, right?
Yeah. So in that case, I will forego the starry form. Never mind.
Okay, so instead of a
I'll
chalice,
take
you just
the-
held a cupped hand, and then...
And then the spirit creature descends upon me, shedding its lovely healing light into my body.
Alright.
and we'll see if that helps.
Do you have an action that you want to do instead then?
So in that case, yes. Which one did not have does it? They all have. They're all fine.
The one to the north is bloody.
Okay, in that case, that one I will cantrip a little fireball at it.
That hits. Eight
fire
damage. Okay. So, standing back up, getting less healing light than you really think that you deserve, but that's beside the point. Kind of shooting out a bit of flame beneath Thor, going between his legs and looking up at the direwolf on the other side. You see it kind of like flinching backwards, trying to escape the flames as you singe the front of it pretty severely. Alright. And then Valoran, you took your damage. He hit you, sir. You've seen Clay stand up with a little bit less show than before, but that's fine. So now the 3 red guys down here. 1 will have flanking on Thor. The other 2 will attack Thor. And none of them have frightened, so it's just advantage. 17 still, sir?
Correct.
That is a hit. That is a hit. We'll go ahead and do damage. 3, 8 down to 4, and 11 down to 5. Second bullet.
9 total.
What?
9 total, correct?
Yes. Oh. Second boy misses and hits. That would again be 9 down to 4. Third boy hits and hits. 11 down to 5 again. And 10 down to 5. So yes, as Clay stands up and you are still in the same situation you found yourself in for quite a while now, you just keep getting battered. You cannot keep your attention on one long enough to prevent it from landing a blow on you as you're just kind of like jostled back and forth and back and forth. And I guess that one will re-roll for the save, which is 16. Oh, did you have to do a con save, Valoran?
Yes, that's right.
Ooh. Damn. Wait, you can't even... If it's a 10, you can't fail.
That's correct. While I'm blessed, it's impossible to save unless he hits me for
More than
22 or more damage.
Interesting.
22 or more.
Okay, so... Wow, he failed again, so he is still frightened. Does that continue?
It's good, because that's the second natural one I've rolled in a row on concentration checks.
So now down to purple, which that guy can't move. Actually, he could move to the right, because it's not towards Valoran, so I guess he'll do that. Which leaves Clay to be attacked twice. Yep.
Oh, what, 4 times?
Yes. Except the one on the west has a flat roll instead of advantage. What's your AC, sir? 18? 19?
19.
Alright. Flat roll. Misses. Misses. The one to the east. Hits. And misses. Deals 13 damage. You're down again?
No.
What are you at, sir?
Low.
Okay, thank you for that one. And then the one north of Valoran, who's going to do a flat roll as I throw my dice again. That's fine. First attack hits. Second attack misses.
I only got hit once.
Yes.
Okay.
You take 11 damage, Valoran. And then purple guy has to roll for the saves. Guy north of you fails. And the one south of Clay fails. And then do another con save. Actually, you don't have to do a con save because it's a 10. Automatically succeed. Alright. Alright, that's all their turns. I feel like that was like an hour and a half, but that's fine. Decker?
Okay. He's gonna dart in here
Mm-hmm.
and
Just confirming kills left and right.
well, we'll see. There we go.
That's a hit?
Hits.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead. Okay. And let's see. 2, 3, 4. And I'll drop down and give a help action for Thor on that one.
Okay.
And fly up. Did that provoke an opportunity attack as I passed by it?
What you approached going there, and then you could have gone. I guess there is no way that you can. No, you could have gone there. Yeah, you could have gotten here without attack opportunity.
Okay, all right. I want to provoke an attack of opportunity, so I'll
Okay.
dip down. So does it take its attack of opportunity?
Yes, I imagine it would. That one's not. Your AC is 18?
Yeah.
Provokes my reaction.
Oh, okay. It misses Decker, if you want to take a swing at it, Thor.
So yeah. Well, before he takes a swing at it, I'm going to spend a superiority die
Mm-hmm.
and riposte.
Okay.
So I am attacking him now. And that hits.
It hits.
And I'm going to re-roll the 2. No. Another 6, so 34. No, 30. 32 damage.
Okay. And then, Thor, are you still striking it as well with your reaction?
Yeah. I don't think I get advantage because.
No, you do. You do. I give you the help action on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if that happened before or after.
Oh yeah, we could say that he did it after his attack. Is when
Okay.
Aurora came and put it on.
Go.
That hits.
It's 18.
That will do it. So, Decker, as you race back in, as traumatic as this combat has been, you've really come into your own. Maybe it's just the simple fact that you just need to stop by Ukin, get a refresher, clear your head, but you are dancing across this battlefield. You are weaving in and out. You are finding these deft finishing blows on basically every single combatant that faces you. And now even as one doesn't face you, and you just slap it in the behind, and it turns around to strike you, you landing a very long and deep gouging blow into its shoulder. As you see it take that damage, beginning to kind of curl in on itself, Thor just lands his pickaxe in the spine of it, the whole creature kind of buckling and then spasming and landing dead on the ground. You two kind of like getting eye contact real quick before you retrieve your rapier from the dead direwolf. God damn. So that's Decker, and now we're down to Thor.
All right. Well, since that one's taken care of, I'd like to try to go in on this one.
Okay.
Recklessly.
Okay.
Or advantage.
Hits.
Okay. 8 and 13.
Okay, so 21.
Yes.
All right. Watching Decker kind of do his little, look at me move to you, and then you turn to continue the combat because you're still in a deadly scenario despite how amazing Decker's performing right now. You land a blow, seeing the direwolf kind of siege back. I cannot speak at this point. Rear back, and then try to almost dash at you, and then landing towards Clay, you swat its paw like an angry mother keeping you away from the cookie jar, seeing it rear back its hand, kind of yelping and cackling slightly as you decisively, I keep having to use that term, stare it off and force its attention to stay upon you. Anything else, sir? What was the 4?
Yeah. So the D4 is I get to use that healing light twice. So once again, the eye will just kind of shine, and then I guess since Clay is only 3 feet tall, it'll probably go
knee.
to like my knee, and then jump over,
and then just plop over.
Yeah.
All right. So Clay, as you get a small spike of Thor hour energy, you land your blow, sir. Is that your turn?
That completes my... Actually, hold on. 5, 10, 15, 20. I'll move here, so I'm within flanking of this one in case they attack Clay.
All right.
But yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. Clay, you're up.
As I begin my turn inside the influence of the healing spirit, I'll have it heal me for 15 light bolts.
Nice.
And as a bonus action, move it. Who's looking hurt right now? Thor's taking a few hits.
I'm not yet bloody. I'm close, but I'm not there yet.
How's everyone else looking?
I haven't been
Ditto. What Thor said.
Okay. Not too worried about Valorn. He's pretty hefty on that one. Yeah, as a bonus action, I'll move the spirit over to Thor. You can enjoy 11 healing. Then I'd like to drop concentration on it, and then once again cast his hand to the heavens above, and may your wrath be imminent, and cast Moonbeam at 4th level. Yeah, and I'll stick it between these two.
So what is success and failure? Is it half damage, no damage?
Let's see. DC 15. Half damage on a success. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, hold on. I can't know the outcome. That's when it makes a roll. No, that's fine. I'll deal with that. 29
James,
radiant damage.
is there any negative to saving throws with Frightened?
It's on attack rolls and ability checks, not saving
Okay,
throws.
gotcha. All right, so the 2 to your south, DC 15 con save. So, okay.
Yes.
First one fails. Okay. And second one, they rolled a 1 and a 3.
Like my wisdom checks.
So, Clay, as you are fully brought back into this combat, finding your footing again, getting a small bit of rejuvenation, not only from Thor, but from the spirit guiding you, you stare down these 2 direwolves before you. And to you, being a 3-foot tall individual, These horse-sized creatures appear to be monsters, their foams drooling with blood and saliva from the previous blows and fights and attacks that they have landed, their yellow eyes staring down into your soul, purely focused on destroying your tiny, tiny little body, crunching it between their teeth. As you feel their intent kind of like seeping into you, you cast up to the heavens, and feeling as if you are reaching back generations of your line, calling multiple ancestors upon this scene to witness the fury that you are about to dispense, this beam of light lands between them. And at first, the two direwolves just give it like a passing quick glance, and in a second, the snap of your fingers, the beam spreads to engulf them both. And then they're just gone. Their whole forms just disintegrate under this sky beam, for lack of a better term. And there is just a blank patch of earth with 8 direwolf paw prints left in their place.
And, do you want to put a shape on there real quick?
Sure.
I don't know how this thing works, but yeah, so that circle being those 4 squares, have the beam in it. Any creature, as I understand, that enters into that has to make the throw. So, Thor, be careful. I'm a risk and opportunity attack to move over here.
Okay.
By going around it so I don't burn myself with my own.
Your AC's 19?
And
19.
It misses.
as it attacks, I'll attack.
Okay. Hits.
10.
You land a decisive blow. You feel it begin to buckle. It is dancing on the edge of, I guess it's already dead, so death and dead as you pull your pickaxe
Re-death.
away. Yeah, re-death. Death part 2. Death Die Harder.
Death the Reckoning.
So that was Clay's turn.
Yes, and I think that shall do it for him.
So then we have red, then purple. So there's 2 reds. One still has frightened. It's going to go ahead and try and attack you again, Valoran. That is a miss. And a hit. Dealing 10 damage to you, sir. And then the roll for it. Hey, it finally succeeds. Look at you. What a champion. And then the one down by Thor. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's just going to attack Thor. It's not going to move. There's no reason for it to. It doesn't have advantage because it doesn't have pack tactics now. Miss.
17.
Yep. And hit. So second one deals 3 damage. That's reduced.
Okay.
So no longer frightened. And then Purple Boy is going to attack. Ooh. Natural 20. Look at me go. I don't think I've rolled a crit on a monster in a long ass time. And second one misses. Cool. Okay. It's 8 and then 6. 19 damage. And then rolling for his... he still fails. So he's still frightened, despite his impressive combat prowess. And then Valoran, we are to you, sir.
So in the first place, I couldn't help but notice that Lavelle did not come running onto the battlefield to help Clay.
So I didn't get into that because there was a lot going on. She's just like by the horses that have kind of gathered when you left watching and would have seen Before she could even make that distance up, Clay would have gotten back up. Because he was only down 1 round.
All right, as long as there's not a wolf eating her
No, yeah.
while we're over here.
Mhm.
All right. So even as Valorant takes that gnarly hit from one of the wolves, he has a manic expression of glee on his face, and he mutters, "Yes, beautiful." And I will first attack red.
Okay. Hits.
A total of 19, and I would like to know if I can tell whether he's bloody.
Yep, he would be bloodied.
He's bloodied? Okay. My second attack I'm going to direct at purple.
Okay. Hits.
And this one's also going to get a level 2 smite. So let's add that much radiant to it.
All right.
So a total of it's 18 and then 25 and then whatever extra from it being radiant.
So yeah, if it wasn't apparent from Clay's display, radiant damage is doubled against these creatures. So as we all quickly learn what Valorant is into during his downtime, and he strikes one of the dire wolves beside him, and then turns to the one to his north, the one that had just landed a nasty blow. Valorant's willpower manifests itself across his face, this like harsh, angular expression just distorting his features before he swings down with the glaive, striking the direwolf like just in the shoulder blade, kind of jamming between the leg and the torso. And as the blade lands there, he imbues it. The fiery blade grows brighter and hotter and begins to shift from your normal orange flame to this brilliant white flame that leaps and jumps and bounds across the direwolf's form before the tendrils of the flames begin to dig into the eye sockets, causing the yellow eyes to glow brighter and brighter before there is this little puff of the eyes disappearing before the entire figure of the wolf is just enveloped in this fireball and then cast, charred, and dead to the ground.
And I will direct my bonus Polar Master attack back at the red one.
Mm-hmm. Hits.
And he is going to get a level 2 smite.
Yeah, I had a feeling. God. Damn! So that Valorant his head still fits through the door by the end of this combat, as you turn back to the other one, landing the blunt end of your glaive into its mouth. You see its tongue kind of lashing around the wood, trying to almost eat this stick that you've driven into it. There's just this quick, sudden, and curt explosion of radiant energy that just rips its maw into cracking its jaw from its head as it just onto the ground beneath you. All right. Anything else, sir?
I don't think so. I think I'll take a breath after that and let Belgrease take a breath. Belgrease, performing bravely. 2 wolves the same size as he on either side.
Decker?
Gonna have Aurora come down and land on Clake's shoulder, and then I'm gonna take a run, and as I hit this log, I'm gonna just do a somersault, land, and thrust out. And
I was waiting for the nat 1. That does hit.
And I'm going to re-roll one of those ones.
Are you somersaulting and landing on it, or are you somersaulting, landing, and then stabbing?
Somersaulting, landing, then stabbing.
All right.
So Add 6 more damage to that, so 24.
Gotcha. Is there a particular place that you're stabbing this poor creature?
It's facing away from me, right?
Yes.
You know where I'm stabbing it.
There's a 50% chance that I get this right. So are we going the Rolly route or the Jarek route? Okay.
Yeah.
So as you go racing back to the last direwolf standing, you hearing these 2 mini explosions off to your west. You put on this somewhat showboaty and self-indulgent somersault over the log, landing on the forest floor in a perfect fencing stance as you square off with the gently swaying nutsack of the direwolf at your eye level. And as it begins to swing, almost like a metronome, a bit of classical music playing in the back of your mind as you are locked in to its exact location, with a precision that only a Caspian can wield, you hold the rapier up between your eyes, the needle point following the sway, and in this decisive and sudden jerk of your hand, you pierce his testicles, diving up into his stomach and gutting him as you drag the blade back and his jewels plop from his container, to keep it PG-13. And that's where we'll take our 10-minute break.
That's the punch you pull. Okay. All right.
As the once tranquil clearing that you initially stepped into erupts with violence, brutal, primal, fighting tooth and nail danger, it finally ceases with Decker's decisive, patent pending, blow on the last of these horrific monsters. The last yellow eyes popping and disappearing as its body crumples to the ground. Around you all lays the quickly disintegrating carcasses of these ferocious canines. And in the center of this practically pile of black matted flesh, there is the large, still frame of Buffy, heaped on one side, neck snapped, much too far to be natural. Valor, and you being still somewhat far back from this scenario, watching the last of it go, you would hear like quickened footsteps behind you, a bit of heightened breathing as Lavelle steps about 10 or so feet behind you, clutching a bunch of diamonds in her hands, looking over at Buffy and the group, and then up at you, and then pauses.
I would immediately, like, once that thing goes down, just immediately run over to Buffy and just literally still raging, just yell, "Lavelle, get over here!"
Clay, is there anything you're doing, sir?
He would already be preparing to revivify.
Yeah, as Thor, you cry out, the anger and, I guess, terror kind of overtaking you at seeing this long companion lay dead on the ground. She takes another step forward before seeing Clay and the small process he's going through, and then gets almost a relieved look, still continuing her walk over to you, but understanding that it's already being taken care of.
Clay would take his diamond and throw it up above Buffy. And, let your light shine down again! And I'd say a beam of light would hit the diamond, refract across Buffy, and imbue Buffy with this holy life, returning it once again to a single hit point.
Thor, give me a wisdom check.
Are you sure about this?
Are you kidding?
Wait, can we do that thing with Buffy where I can't roll below a 10?
It's not regarding Buffy, so no, we cannot.
Oh, well then, never mind. Carry on.
Anyway, carrying on. as this disco ball presence begins to hover over the dead body of Buffy, life still slowly seeping out of the muscles of this ragged and wise beast. All of the various offshoots of light begin to gently grow closer and closer, bringing each slightly different hue and brightness into a singular beam, pressing down through Buffy's physical form and striking at the soul in the center of its chest. As everybody watches Lavelle finally making it to the scene and letting out this shaky kind of sigh of relief, you would see Buffy's body begin to slowly swell. And then this kind of somewhat sickening, but in the moment relieving pop, crack, and snap as its massive neck is reset unnaturally back into place. You hear a huff of breath coming out of its snout, kicking some of the leaves away from its mouth as you hear this, and its head kind of lolls back until its groggy, slowly lighting eyes meet Thor.
Oh, Buffy. And I will, be visibly crying. On one knee, tugging the neck, making sure not to crack it again.
Yeah, Buffy would just kind of too weak to stand and too tired to move, just let you kind of hold his head as you've knelt beside him, just slowly forcing life back into its lungs as it is wrenched back into this world.
And I would also, still crying, look up to Clay. Well, I guess look over to Clay. Thank you so much, Mr. Clay. You have no idea how much this meant to me.
You know, he did good, kid. Real good. Walk it off, Bear, and he'll cast a healing word on Buffy. Just to give it a little bit of extra juice.
Thor, as you are still clinging to this large beast in your lap, you see a lot of the nicks and scrapes and cuts that Buffy had suffered when taking that initial dive from that first direwolf that leaped from its hidden spot begin to seal and heal and regrow to its healthy brown fur. A bit of a tilt of Buffy's head as his eyes look over at the small Clay, and it appears to you, Clay, being somewhat in touch with animals and knowing Buffy somewhat briefly, that there is a look of understanding in the old bear's eyes as it silently gives you its own appreciation.
I really owe you pretty much everything I have.
Then I will call upon that debt here and now.
Okay, what do you want?
That you will do everything in your power. Make any sacrifice to prevent the return of the Dark Prince.
I'll kind of stop and think for a second. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm already doing that, but I can continue to do so.
Then on the life of your bear, you will succeed.
Thank you, Mr. Clay.
Now, I don't know about you lot, but I'm not used to having my ass beaten into the ground. And he'll cough out some blood real quick.
Are you okay? I saw you get literally torn shreds by 3 dire wolves.
Yeah, I think it's all the same to y'all. I'd like to go jump on my pony there and just kind of hang out for a little bit.
Lavelle, who's like tucking her own diamonds like into the little pouches across her outfit, kind of looks down at you and shrugs slightly. If you want, I can carry you back.
But taking a look at her bosom, he'll be like, yeah, I know that's so lovely of you, miss.
So she
He'll
would
nestle up.
scoop down, kind of carry you like a child, like a small baby. And as you are going, she would be muttering under her breath various, incantations and words to bestow a bit of healing on you as you walk, making sure that the deeper wounds that you had suffered begin the process of healing.
He plays pretty happy.
Not too far just yet, Miss Lavelle.
Kind of shifts with Clay in her arms, looking over at you.
So Valorant, I had observed the touching scene with Buffy from a distance with some satisfaction, and once it seems like the bear is going to make it, going to walk the horse over to the first body, the first mass of fur that we that led us here.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of looking back at Lavelle to join me, and hoping in her expertise, I ask her to see if she could tell what killed this first body, what killed it again. It's not going to be easy or even not necessarily even possible, but
You want to give her advantage on a medicine check?
sure.
I'll give her some guidance.
So as Lavelle returns beside Valor and shifting Clay up into a riding on her shoulders position so that she can have her hands free, she ducks down beside this beast, which is about twice her size, and begins kind of shoving the muck and the grossness out of the way, kind of shifting the body over. I guess something that you would all observe in this moment that you've probably seen before, but it is on the spotlight now. Lavelle is the least squeamish person you have ever seen. She just reaches into this muck, tears a bit of fur off, kind of brings the rotten flesh up to her nose and does a quick sniff and then plants it back down and just elbow deep dives into this disgusting pile of direwolf. Using perhaps Clay's backseat driving over her head.
A little bit over there.
And using Valor and Strength to help move the body around. She eventually would kind of flop it over on its side with a good amount of the half that was touching the ground being left behind. Peeling that layer back, she would eventually find a large bite mark kind of on the bottom right side of the neck that had been covered when it was curled up. And piecing it all together, doing some guesswork, you can pretty confidently assume that one of the other direwolves kind of just bit on its neck.
Point of order. Moonbeam causes any shapeshifter to return to its original form.
Okay.
Anything from... Okay.
Strange. I would pretend to know exactly what this means, but... Well, if there was any doubt that we were riding into their trap. I think that is dispelled. We were simply too much for them.
We were too much for the ones that showed up. We don't know the true strength of their group.
Yeah, you notice that even as Valorant says that, there's no satisfaction on his face. He's just sort of frowning down.
Decker, you have a point. How many bodies are here?
Looking around.
Not
I counted them earlier, but I can't remember. It was 3.
Was it 4 groups of 3?
No, it was.
How many colors did you use?
There was 12, and then there's one dead in the center, and then there's one you killed yesterday.
That's 14, but
We counted 15.
15 pairs of eyes.
I guess if
I
somebody vocalized, I'd look around.
Give me a perception.
Yeah.
I'll join you on that one.
Just forget I exist.
As your eyes are still burning from the fresh tears, Clay just kind of like nestles in his position, like kind of resting his head on top of Lavelle's head and glancing around. Yeah. Giving the immediate area a check just to make sure there isn't one lingering in one of the dark bushes nearby. Nothing stands out to you.
I think we're missing one.
Let's return to Tronbird with all haste. Perhaps we'll take a path through the woods that will take us to the eastern gate instead of the southern.
If it's all the same to y'all, I'm going to take to the skies, as that seems to be the safest option.
Why am I carrying you?
Well, it was a rather enjoyable experience on my part.
And he'll actually wild shape on top of her. It's where his talons of the great eagle form are like on her shoulders, and he'll just take off.
and Aurora would follow right behind him, flying in formation with him.
Quick point of order, it's probably getting close to 7-ish in the evening, maybe 8. Lights just kind of starting to dim. So you can travel back through the night. You probably have, again, 3, 4, 5 hours of traveling ahead of you to get back to Tronbird.
That would still be getting in the late evening. Or
Yeah, you'd be in there like 11 to midnight, somewhere in that range.
that would be reasonable. I would submit.
Yeah, you'd just be traveling through the woods through the night. Or into the night.
I think we risk it, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Get our asses back.
setting off from the clearing, is there anything that you'd be doing on the way back to Tronbird? Any conversations, comments, inquiries, things of that nature?
I just, I do apologize. It might appear as if I was hesitant to throw myself in the middle of the fight, dancing around the edges as I do, but it's what I'm good at. I hope you don't think I was shirking any responsibility in the fight.
Not at all. No need to explain. Your contribution is more than noted. As far as I'm concerned.
You really blasted the holy hell out of that one. What was that? I don't think I've seen you do that before. And you, Thor. Oh, I thought you swung big heavy things and hit them hard, and now you've got energy coming out of your toe to heal people. What are you?
Wait, what? What do you mean?
honestly can't tell if he's being stupid or witty.
But I have no idea what you're talking about.
Not something I'm familiar with either.
If either you or Decker would take a closer look, you would notice that one of the eyes of the bear tattoo is familiar to you.
And in what way?
It was attached to a previous companion that you've lost semi-recently.
Or it seems that you have been adopted.
What?
Congratulations, you're a warlock, baby.
What do you mean? What are you guys talking about?
You have Jarek's belly button eye in your tattoo.
I'm just gonna look down. Oh, that wasn't a dream. Okay.
What wasn't a dream?
Well, so I had like this dream where I was like going through this weird hallway. There were like all my memories and stuff like indoors. And then at the end, I saw what I thought was, I guess, what I imagined the dog to look like. But then it turned out to be JD. But like not JD. And then we had this really weird talk about how there are multiple JDs all over the place. And JD isn't the only JD, he's just my JD, and there are other JDs. And then I think I made a deal with him. How I would like come to him for guidance. And there were some rules that I'm sure I'll be reminded of at some point. But yeah, I thought it was a dream.
Well, all I can say is congratulations. It seems that a piece of our companion lives on in you in a very real sense.
Rather
Yeah.
sweet. Eh?
At least it's not on my belly button. That was a little weird.
Yeah, I was never a fan of that aesthetic myself.
Thought he pulled it off.
I mean, honestly, on me it wouldn't look bad as I like looked out at my like 12 pack. But I mean, with all the rolls, it's not really an eye. It's more like a lips, and it just looks weird.
Trust me, Thor, I think it's for the best. If it were in your belly button, it would just distract from your physique.
I guess. Wait, so what happened, Decker?
Divine or whatever, some sort of energy came out of your big toe into his mouth, and you healed him with that. So
Look at toe.
it's a very humble manifestation of your powers.
I'm gonna try to like observe my toe, see if I feel any tingles.
Give me a wisdom check.
You're just gonna keep throwing this at me until I roll something. Pretty good for Thor.
Above a 10, you're in the double digits, so I think that's amazing.
As you glance down at your toe, you're not feeling or seeing any sort of abnormality on your physical flesh. But as like you wiggle it kind of in your vision, you hear this like distant sound, and you kind of like tilt your head to it, and you only quite figure out what it's saying by the time it's already echoing in the distance. You just hear, "You got it, bud. Good job."
Whoa. I have magic toes.
That was quite a close shave with Buffy. Suppose you probably owe Clegg a bit more than a promise, I'd say at least. I don't even know what kind of drink he would drink, what size it would be. Did gnomes drink entire pints, or do they have little gnome-sized cups? Whatever it is, you should probably offer him something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I asked him for anything, and he said, just do what you're already doing, and I was like, that's stupid,
Yes,
but okay.
He's round rather tight. I mean, every time when he comes up with this phrase, just fight them. But he's talking to them. I don't think they can even understand him.
Yeah.
Well, wonder what he'll come up with next.
So Valoran, I guess Clay is flying. He's not really part of our conversation.
Yeah, on that note, I would like to have a look out here of everything, if that's...
Go for it, sir.
Does your beast shape only last an hour?
4.
Oh, okay.
Nice. What are you doing, James?
Fuck me.
Don't you have advantage?
That should be advantage. I don't know. I didn't roll it at advantage. Well, let me ask you this. I have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight, but it's dark. So flat roll, or do I still get mine?
We'll leave it flat.
Nah.
I was gonna make a comment to Clay, but then I remembered he's not in speaking distance.
Gotcha.
You would hear him occasionally screech out as, as he's flying overhead, but...
Can we say that he hits a tree at one point because he rolled a 1 and he can't see where he's going?
No, he's flying high enough. He's not gonna run.
Come
into a tree.
on.
He can't take that bludgeoning damage.
Can he hit another bird?
So as night begins to set in, a much more relaxed conversation being allowed to finally happen as the threat of the direwolves have seemingly been put to rest. The Golden Hearts make their way north and then diverge a little bit to the west, finding the main road leading back to Trombert. Excuse me. It's pretty late at night, about 11:30 if you had to take an exact guess. As you are strolling back up to the gates, a lot of the day-to-day life of the city kind of growing silent, just a handful of people and guards kind of milling about the entrance as you return home. Well, home.
I have like a retcon question that I was gonna do, and then Rob struck up a conversation. Before we left the direwolf encampment, could I go up to the one that downed Buffy and then just whisper in its ear, I'm going to find every last one of you and kill all of you.
Yeah?
I hope you can hear this.
Alright.
And also, I guess, would Clay come out of his form when we got towards the gates?
Yeah, it only lights for 4 hours, so by the time, an hour before we got there, he would have to land and mount the pony.
Okay. Gotcha. So then at some point when I could visually talk to and see Clay, I would just reach in my bag that I assume I have of coins and just throw him whatever. Hold on, give me a second.
A very Thor unit of measurement. I throw him
hold on.
whatever.
Hold on. Let me just try to roll this. Oh,
Wow.
never mind. All right.
Where the hell was that for your wisdom check?
Listen, I was trying to figure out how much I would throw him. I'll throw him a gold piece. And I'll just say, buy yourself. I don't even know how many drinks this buys, but here, take it.
Well, thank you.
And then I would address like the whole group. I don't think I'm going to stay in the city tonight. Gonna.
Thor, we're there's another one out there.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I can take it. But I don't want to leave Buffy alone. And Buffy doesn't like city people. They smell weird.
I'll just ask that you try to keep the walls of the city in sight.
I'll see if Buffy and I can come to an agreement.
Well, then I'll say good night. I hope you get what you need out here.
Me too.
I'll go off to find Danica.
All right. Assuming she's awake.
Oh, I'll wake her up.
Okay. Let me, yeah, you guys would be. I'm imagining, is there any other things to take care of before the party arrives back at the caravan with Thor waiting outside? So, marching back towards the center of the city and then returning to the safe house you'd been shown before leaving, as you step inside the warehouse and make your way to the caravan where Danica has seemingly chosen to sleep in the cart, whether that's for safety reasons or just not wanting to deal with finding another place to sleep, you would eventually find her in the cart that holds the Toradan piece, where she had slept the night previously when you guys were all on watch and Valoran was in there.
So is she asleep?
Yes. She would feel the gentle nudging of her foot, kind of like lazily swatting her hand down that direction before realizing someone's tapping her, kind of lifting her head and peering under this blanket that's still kind of like covering half her face, just one eye kind of poking out. What?
We killed all the wolves, and I was marvelous. I love you. Good night.
Fuck off. And then puts her head back down.
So Valoran has also come back to the caravan, and first he informs the men that they were mostly successful out in the woods and they can resume normal shifts and get some rest. And then he pokes his head into that same wagon and sees that Danica is laying there. And he doesn't say anything, but before he leaves, he stops with Ferris and says, "In the morning, if you would let Miss Caspian know, that particular wagon is not a good place to sleep for the long term."
I tried having her sleep in the carriage with Mr. Moon, but she was very persistent that was the cart that she wanted to lay her head down in.
If she persists, let me know and I will speak to her.
Yes, of course, my lord.
Thank you, Sergeant. Get some rest tonight and a hearty breakfast. and we'll set off.
So are you guys, I guess, taking a short, long rest through the night and then departing in the morning?
I think under the circumstances, even a regular long rest.
Yeah.
If we get a late start, we don't have to leave at dawn every day.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask Dog for protection while we sleep through the night.
All right. Thor, I'm giving you so much benefit of the doubt here. As you are spending the night with Buffy, for the love of God, give me a wisdom check. You can't get below a 10. All right. How are you, getting ready to sleep with Buffy?
So I try to find, a clearing, if I could. And then, to sit up in the middle of it. Try to put my pickaxe somewhere that's hidden, but if somebody came from that one specific spot and they hit my pickaxe, it'd fall over and make a noise.
Okay.
Just for the one trap that I can set. And then I'd kind of just sit there with Buffy's head on my legs, and I would just kind of sit there and wait for Buffy to fall asleep. And then once Buffy was asleep, I would lay back and fall asleep.
As you're sat, the distant nocturnal sounds of the Liamus countryside kind of drifting across your ears, your hand just rhythmically following the same petting motion over the thick wild fur of Buffy. Eventually, the large beast begins to slumber, his breathing growing regular and long. You feel yourself beginning to grow weary, the day's events kind of wearing on you, the stress of potentially losing someone you held so dear after losing someone you held so dear. You begin to feel your own body relax, your eyelids begin to droop, kind of leaning back ever so slightly, and almost subconsciously your hand is still shifting across Buffy, just this very slow, gentle petting. Right before you feel your consciousness slip away and you welcome the embrace of sleep, as your hand goes to go through the motion, instead of feeling the warm, fuzzy comfort of Buffy's fur, you run your hand over something warm and tactile, feeling like skin, but way too distorted and bumpy. And as your eyes snap awake, already realizing that this is not what you should be touching, and your head leans forward and you jolt back to being there in the moment, you find yourself with your hand just on Buffy, kind of frozen, staring down, but your fingers still feel a kind of clinging, lingering warmth.
Dog, is that you? I'm so confused as to what gives me the tingles nowadays. I guess I'll just...
Give me a history check. Come on, knock it out of the park. I believe in you. Perhaps being spurred on by the presence of Buffy and being so focused on that relationship that you have focused on for so long, your mind, as you feel that tactile, bumpy texture, tries to dive deep to think of what that could be or what it means or where it's coming from. And the image that you're I guess, subconscious eventually kind of lays in front of you is the figure that was drifting behind Buffy in the cave that you were conceived in. That somewhat transparent, floating naked woman with the red hair floating unnaturally behind her, being suspended in this strange state. Her skin covered from head to toe in these deep, animalistic scars. And you feel a small connection there.
Nature. I guess I'll just keep stroking. Don't worry, I'm watching after him. I won't let him die on my watch. And I'll just relax back, fall asleep, hopefully.
So as our various heroes find their way to slumber, waking up a bit later than usual to begin their day after their hunt through the night, is there anything that the party would be doing before they depart?
I'd go back to Danica.
She'd probably, I guess, have been awake for a couple hours before you.
Good morning, sister.
Could you not bother me when I'm sleeping? I need my beauty sleep, clearly.
You've got beauty to spare. But I definitely needed my sleep because killed 6 wolves yesterday. That was magnificent.
Can't you brag to whoever?
Of course not. It wouldn't be becoming, but I can brag to you.
Well, I wish you would have written a song about it. I don't know the specifics, but I'm sure it was valiant.
You know I don't sing. I love
No,
you,
you don't
sister.
sing well.
Goodbye.
But anything else from the party?
I guess Thor would at some point make his way back. Wherever they are, or were. Hopefully still there.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably be arriving as they're, like, getting ready to leave, so.
Just random question, just for the sake of asking. Is there a town crier of sorts?
Yeah, there would be.
Is there any interesting news that would hit our ears?
The general rotation that any of you would hear, moving throughout the city, getting up in the morning, just kind of existing. There would be mention of folk and Liamis. It kind of seems to be a rather large topic for this specific region. There would be some small updates on the Giles and Roy Mizev war. There doesn't seem to be any new battles or sieges that have taken place. But there's just general tidbits of information of, this is what the king is saying and doing and where he had his most recent speech and whatnot. Nothing super important or really centered around your attention. Besides that, it would be pretty mundane stuff. They would be talking about the various, criminals that had been captured yesterday and that they were, being put on trial for public display this morning and things of that nature. Nothing that directs to your purpose.
No mention of, dire wolves coming through, anything like that?
No, I mean, you guys showed up noon yesterday and then immediately left to take care of them, so there isn't a lot of time. Yeah.
I just didn't know if they were sighted coming through here at any point.
No.
That's at least until we leave.
Well, anything before we leave then, gentlemen? All right.
Grab a skin of ale, probably. Couple of
wine.
Wine travels better.
The party, whoever is already at the caravan might notice Valoran showing up at the caravan in traveling clothes with no armor or insignia, and then he changes into his usual outfit as they're getting ready to leave.
What were you doing in regular human clothes, Lord Valoran?
What? Oh. Just been in the armor for days. Wanted to see what it felt like.
It's okay, you're allowed to be normal. Sometimes.
And what was your impression of being comfortable? Did you like it?
I look forward to doing it again.
Well, the next time we're home, I've got a tailor that could make some clothes to suit you.
I could try to make you one of these, and I would point at my loincloth.
I actually would pay good money to see that.
I second that. As Danica kind of steps up behind you.
Well, Thor, perhaps
Need
when
I-
we're in the land of your people, we will all do as the Goliaths do.
We certainly will not.
Decker, I think you would look smashing.
Of course I would look smashing, but I'd be cold, sister.
They do take it as insult if you don't dress appropriate to their culture.
Well, we'll see if some accommodations can be made.
Yeah, need I mention the part where we just fought a bunch of direwolves? I don't know about you lot. Armor. I'm gonna stick with armor.
I was fine.
Like, maybe in future confrontations, stay a little further in the back.
Hey,
No, no.
To be fair,
To be fair, he tried. I did see him try. This guy's a little better than JD was at that.
best not to speak ill of the dead, friend.
I didn't say he was bad. I said you were a little better.
Well, if we are done with this terrible place, I, for one, would like to get the hell out of here.
Me too. And I'll try to move my bear mouth head.
So, Goldenheart's departing, heading north yet again.
I coach.
How much for those? Go ahead.
I coach Ferris and the guards to not to keep a sharp eye, because we didn't get them all, but we did get most of them.
Okay. We'll go over how much that cost out of session, Clay, so get you a more accurate number. But heading out of Tronbert, directing yourselves back towards the northeast, you would realize pretty quickly, leaving the city on this day, that the chill that you'd been, I guess, grown rather accustomed to, has faded. Perhaps due to the direwolves being killed, perhaps being no longer following you or watching you, but it is a noticeable shift in the weather as most of you welcome the return of a moderate amount of warmth, it still being February. But besides that, the caravan would quickly fall into the routine that it is rather comfortable with, traveling day by day, stopping at night, the guards and Iron Pot, taking extra precautions in case a stray direwolf does find itself to you. But would there be anything else that the party would be doing while traveling?
Or mention how hot it is now. But also one thing that Thor would be doing is well, hold on. Okay, well, he'd be trying to remember how JD did his spells, and he'd be slowly trying to learn how to cast things. So, like, he tried to rub his hands together and somehow create light on, like, something.
With my background, would I have any inkling on how to help Thor?
So your abilities stem more from like an arcane knowledge, while Thor's would be divine to some extent, or at least powered by something
Just wondering
different.
if there was anything in my studies that I might be able to pass on to him that had like a common ground.
I would say there'd probably be certain, like, I guess, hand gestures or motions or sensations that would be applicable to both processes. So you wouldn't be able to, like, directly steer him towards what he's missing, but you could, like, help him with his form or maybe adjust, like, the nonsensical motions he does with his hands to at least resemble something that you recognize.
Oh, before I became a master swordsman, I was on a path to become a master magician. Just turns out I have no aptitude for it, but that all being said, I've got some of the basics, and if you like some help, I've spoke with a few individuals that channel their power, such as you, and I think I've seen them do some things that are common. Would you like any help?
See Thor kind of like warming up his hands and then kind of in a Kamehameha-esque, just kind of releasing the heat onto his pickaxe, trying to get it to glow.
You see,
I mean, if you have any suggestions, if I need to rub faster, or if I just need to hold around the pickaxe.
no, it's certainly not anything that involves large physical or fast movements. You understand that most individuals that wield arcane abilities of any sort typically don't look like you, so they don't focus so much on the physical. You're very large, very strong is what I meant. It was a compliment. Try smaller motions, but align them more with your thoughts. You should be thinking more than doing. And then I would... Yeah.
I'll just like try to think about things that Jarek would do. I'll just like hold my pickaxe out like a sword, try to cast light on it, which I imagine it would take a while, but it would work eventually.
Okay.
Now you've got it.
Whoa!
Very
And
good.
then I
Good one.
throw it like a boomerang as the light just kind of like goes around.
How far can you throw the pickaxe?
I think we said 80 feet.
And the light spell only goes to 60?
No, the light spell is on the object.
Yeah.
But once it gets out of a certain range of you, doesn't it flicker off?
No.
Okay.
It's you touch an object no larger than 10 feet. Until the spell ends, the object sheds bright light in a 20/20. The light can be colored as you like. Spell ends if you cast it again or dismiss it. No.
Okay.
There's
I
nothing about
thought I
it.
remembered it being like a range, but alright. You throw the pickaxe, the kind of light trailing behind as it blurs and arcs and turns, and then finally finds its way back to your hand.
Yep. I'd look back at, like, Valorant, Clay, and Decker. This could be very useful.
Yeah.
And then I'll just, the whole time, kind of work on casting spells. Seeing which ones I can do, which ones I can't.
And while he's doing that, I would go seek my own instruction with Gavin.
Yeah, the, I guess, lore dump that we went over last time is kind of the broad summary of the initial teachings you're getting from him. So for the first unspecified amount of time, but like month or so that you're traveling with him and learning from him and just discussing things with him, that would be the thing that you're learning more about, being taught, being shown, and generally discussing and like poking holes through so that he can then explain in his own, I guess, faith-filled way. So there wouldn't be anything like new to discern every single time you went back there, but that would be the information that you're accumulating. So, I'm assuming there would be no pressing business between now and Folk. So is it good to move up there? Or is there anything that we have to cover before then? Alright.
I don't think so. I'd be riding close to Buffy, but...
Okay.
Clay would have a chat with Valorant, but that kind of depends on what you're planning on doing in the next 10 minutes.
Go for
having a
it.
chat with Valorant.
Okay. Yeah, so on the road, Clay would probably trot up to next to Valorant and
Lord Athelbane, I've not been particularly present in Folk in a while. And from what little I've gathered, your last visit home seems to have been somewhat exciting. What am I walking into here?
It was turbulent, but I have no reason to think that there will be any problems that we don't face everywhere in Asmiliath.
Well, so far, since I've met you, we've been attacked by a pack of undead direwolves. Is that what we should expect of your homeland? I mean, I understand this place is a godforsaken swamp, but
I'm not sure what to tell you, Mr. Clay. Undead direwolves are not native to Folk, but we are on a path like no other in this time or place. I would advise you that in terms of the things that we encountered, the dire wolf battle went very well.
I would hesitate to agree with that, but I suppose in the end it all worked out. Look, I know you have your heart set on tracking down your escaped slaves. Well, I guess technically they're not yours, but My entire life has been dedicated to eradicating the remnants from the Great Entrance. I don't know that I can truly lend a hand in oppression. I'm here for a very specific purpose. These direwolves were very much in line with everything I've done in my career as one of the chosen, but to go put down people, and they are people, I don't know if I can assist. I'll do what I can to minimize damage, protect the innocent, but I cannot assist in putting these people back into chains.
I hope that what I am going to tell you will sway you. I am accustomed to everyone in the caravan already being aware. The county over which I have dominion is the only one in all of Folk in which slavery is abolished. It was my father's doing, and I have chosen to uphold it. And quite simply, our intervention is the escaped slaves being led by Black Eye. Their only chance at life. If they are encountered by any other military power in Folk, they will eventually run out of luck and die. Now, I am open to a wide range of possibilities where Black Eye and his band are concerned. I am not going to allow myself the luxury of optimism. But the death of those escaped slaves is not my goal, nor their return to captivity.
Good to know. I've seen far too many horrors in my travels, and I do not wish to be a part of it. Knowing that helps me, though. If you intend to sequester them to your region to keep them safe, I'm all aboard. If you find a way to remove them entirely from the lands of Folk, I shall attempt to assist. I'm glad to know you are not a man to uphold the slavery of others.
I truly think that it diminishes Folk. And not just in a moral sense. But we can discuss that another time. I'm not sure what category you would place this under, but I intend to recruit them. They have displayed, apparently, a penchant for banditry. I would like to give them the opportunity to try their hand at soldiering.
Well, if you just need to whip them into shape, they probably won't receive the best reception to the Chosen, but you can always send them up their way.
We'll see. As I said, I will not allow myself any optimism in this matter, but We will make an attempt and see what comes of it.
Then by the stars above, we have an accord.
Happily, Mr. Clay.
So as the party continue traveling day by day, the end of February growing closer and closer until you finally reach the border of folk, there would be a little bit of friction as you cross this now somewhat loose or hostile boundary between the two factions. Finding yourself in Longdale, it would require a little bit of potentially Valoran leaning on them, but the guards at the border are very hesitant to let Thor pass through. Even after allowing it and letting the caravan proceed, there's a few choice comments of, "Oh, with times like these, you gotta be careful about the animals coming through," and similar comments. As the party leave Longdale, still traveling up towards Corsair, trying their best to find themselves in Lord Athelvain's home as soon as possible, it's about 9 or 10 in the morning, having just set off for a day of adventure, when you see a lone rider approaching you, and it's nothing that immediately draws your attention. You pass by lone riders all the time, but just kind of giving him an eye as he grows closer and closer, being able to discern a few more details. Valoran, you would eventually recognize the familiar colors of House Barbet, and you kind of get a little sense of familiarity before you can identify the figure of Sir Florent Lemoyne astride a mount closing in on you. And that's where we're going to end the session.